into today's video. As you've probably just seen from the few clips that I've put in at the start, I've got a new bookcase. It's over here. It is a half-height, narrow, Billy bookcase in the colour white from IKEA. And yeah, that is now the final bookcase that'll fit in here and probably in the house. It's a new bookcase to add to the bedroom. The bedroom is where I keep all of my read books. I do have some unread books upstairs in the office. I have made an entire video on that before, my TBR shelves. I'll link that up above if you're new here, if you haven't seen it, or if you've just missed it. I'll link up here the TBR shelf video, and that goes through all of it. But yeah, I'm basically running out of space in the bedroom, and I might have enough space for the rest of this year if I hadn't have brought this, but I definitely wouldn't have had enough space for next year. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to do a complete bookshelf reorganisation, figure out what I want on here, reshuffle these. I've got another bookshelf behind the door that I'll show you in a moment. I'll do a quick like before shot of everything before we get going. But I want to reorganise those, but I also want to, as I'm doing that, go through all the books and see if there's any I want to get rid of. I don't think there'll be many on this shelf behind me because this is mainly like graphic novels, sci-fi fantasy, but behind the door is where I keep a lot of more random stuff. I've been getting way more into non-fiction and poetry, so I'm thinking I'm going to move those onto here probably. But yeah, there's just a lot, and there's been quite a few bad books so far this year. I wasn't going to get rid of any books until like the end of the year because I film a lot of end of year videos in December, but to be honest, I've just decided I don't want them. Like, if there's any books that don't bring me joy, that I'm not excited to either reread or have in my possession, to be able to lend out to people, flick through, display, like, just don't need, I'm just going to get rid of them. So yeah, that is kind of where I'm at. I still like having a lot of books. I don't expect to get rid of loads, but I'm hoping to have quite a lot of free space. I've got quite a few bookends that are not in use at the moment. So my hope is to have enough free space now that I've got this extra shelf, and I'm going to be getting rid of some, to have, you know, just like a bit of space on every shelf for either like a knick-knack, a plant, a bookend, something like that, so there's room to grow on every shelf. So yeah, that's the plan, that's the video. I hope you enjoy. First of all, I will show you the bookshelves and then we'll just start looking through the books, and I think I'm just going to move all of the books onto the bed so that all the shelves are empty to begin, and then we'll completely reorganise. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's get started. Okay, so this is the new blank shelf, nothing on it yet. We've got the shelves here, but I haven't put them in because I don't know what height will be needed, but that's that one there. Then we've got, this is the main shelf in the bedroom. This is an IKEA Hemnes bookshelf in white and oak, I believe. But yeah, it's just the only size that IKEA do for this colourway, so yeah, fun size. But this is basically all this fantasy and sci-fi. That's a pile of books that need putting away. They're from the A book recommendations video. More. That's from my April wrap-up that I've just filmed. More. And the very bottom of the shelf, because this is the highest shelf I have, is all of the graphic novels and manga and stuff like that, and I'm probably going to keep that the same, but I will be going through it. And over this side of the bedroom, behind the door, it literally fits perfectly behind the door. The door can open like that and it's hidden, but yeah, give me an entire another bookshelf. This is again the narrow Billy bookcase, but it's the one full height one. So this is what we're looking at. We've got contemporary books on the first two shelves. I think this is where I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of books. I don't read many contemporary books, so I tend to keep all of them because I don't read many of them, but that's silly. And to be honest, I think there's quite a few of them that can go, so that's that. Then we've got non-fiction, poetry, like educational non-fiction, memoir, a big mixture here. This is a shelf that I really want to give more space to, but there are also a few bad ones that I've read, or ones that like I haven't enjoyed. They're not necessarily bad, someone might enjoy them, but I have not, so I will be getting rid of some off this shelf as well. This is horror to classics shelf. Yeah, I think that's right, horror and classics. Oh no, it doesn't go together. This is what we're reorganising. Then we've got mysteries and mystery-esque shelf. Again, I think I'll probably get rid of a couple of these. Actually, probably only one, to be fair. But yeah, we'll go through that one. And then we've got dystopia. This should definitely be over on the fantasy and sci-fi shelf. It makes a lot more sense for it to be over there because like dystopia is like a subgenre of that. Don't know what's over here. And then the very bottom two shelves are the like children's and middle grade. I will probably keep all of these together even though some of them could be in other categories. I just think it makes sense for all of the ones that are for younger readers to stay together, so I think that's what I'll do. But I'm probably going to check the ages of all of these just to make sure, because I do have on the main shelves like both YA and adult. These are like younger than YA, so I will double check that, but I'm pretty sure this is all correct. And I will have a look through these as well and see if there's any that are going to go. So yes. Oh, hello. These books, I'm keeping all of them. This pile I need to look through, and the pile underneath the laptop, they're going to go. Geoff is now going to help me. He's going to be really helpful. Jafar has found a little spot in the window in his basket. Haven't you? Yeah. And then the shelves are empty. The one behind the door is empty as well, but you don't really need to see that. I'm going to get all of the knick-knackage off. And I've got some anti-backs. It's been a while since the books have been moved, like probably over a year. So I'm going to anti-back down absolutely everything before we start reorganising. So I'm going to do that now and then I'll come back. Okay, so the shelves are clean except for the very top of the two tall ones. When I bring the chair back up, I need to remember to do it. They are clean now and I need to figure out what to put on them. I think this main shelf, because like I do still see this as my main shelf, I'm going to stick to be fantasy and sci-fi. I think that just makes sense. I'm unsure whether to put my graphic novels back on the bottom of here or move them to the bottom of this one. What I need to be aware of with this one is like 90% of the time there's like a big chair that lives here. Like 10% of the time we do move it down to the living room when we've like got guests or just want an extra seat. So like it's easily movable, but like to access probably like the bottom two shelves in this new unit, I will need to move a chair. So realistically I don't want stuff on there that I access too often. So I'm trying to think like what my least read genres are, or like least read sections that only require one shelf or two shelves as well. Yeah, I think it's time to have a play around and just figure out. I'm gonna, yeah, just have a play around for a bit. I don't know what's going to come out of this. I'll probably just pop you on a time lapse, and once I've got like a definitive decision, check back in. Okay, decisions have been made. I'm going to focus on these two shelves first, then put everything on the other. I'm going to dedicate this big one to fantasy sci-fi, like all of it. It'll give me room to grow because it's my fastest growing like genres of books, and that's kind of the reason why we've got the second shelf, because that was growing so fast. On this one down here, I'm going to do graphic novels on the bottom two. When I read graphic novels, I read multiple at a time, but I probably only pick them up like every 2 or 3 months. So I feel like they make the most sense to kind of be blocked off. It is a shame because they're so pretty, but we're working with what we're working with. So that's going to be those. And I've also already put one of the bookends in and it's looking pretty good. Now the top one, I'm going to put poetry. I don't know how much poetry I have because it was on a shelf with multiple other things. So for now, I'm just going to put poetry on the top. But depending on how much of it there is, like I might end up putting like another small genre on there as well. Like I know I only have like a handful of like self-help non-fiction, a handful of nature non-fiction, a handful of memoir, so we'll just wait and see. Jafar, please don't eat that plant. You, this is a naughty boy. We don't eat plants, do we? No, we don't eat plants. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to start getting the fantasy and sci-fi on first because that'll move the most off the bed. What I'm thinking is, if I move you back up here, just alphabetical order. I think that's the best bet. So I'm going to just start putting them on. Like I'll put a few, there's some C's, some G's, some M's and some W's, and I'm just going to place them on for now in the correct kind of place for the alphabet and then see where we go. So yeah, I'm going to turn this into a time lapse where you can hopefully watch me do that pretty decent. This is sci-fi fantasy all the way down on this shelf. I've got plenty of open spaces. If you can hear drilling, Jay's putting shelves up. And if you can hear meowing, Jafar's decided it's his time to have attention. You deserve all the attention, don't you? Yeah, you deserve all the attention. All the attention. Okay. So yeah, that's the sci-fi fantasy and they're all sorted there. I'm going to make them prettier at some point, but that's not what I'm doing right now. I've got all of the poetry there and now I'm going to add something else there. I'm thinking memoir. In my mind, like memoir and poetry just really go together, so that's what I think I'm going to do. And then graphic novels at the bottom. But for now, I'm going to get all of the other books onto the shelf the other side. I've split them up into... Do you not want to go down yet? Will you go down? Okay, so I've split all the other books up into piles. So we've got classic, memoirs, other non-fiction, contemporary, horror, like children's and younger, and mystery. So that's kind of like just what I've got. So I'm just going to figure out what shelves on the shelf behind the door they'll all fit onto and get those set up. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now, because to be honest, if it all stays like this on the shelves already done tonight, that's fine. If these don't get on the shelves, we've got nowhere to sleep. So I'm going to make sure all the books are back on shelves, even if I still want to do like pretty touches to them. So that's the next plan. So we are back and it's actually the next day now. My camera died yesterday. Since then I have reattached the shelf that's behind the door to the wall, because when I was doing the top shelf yesterday I came to the realisation that the screw had slipped out the wall. So we've now put raw plugs in and screws in, so hopefully that won't happen again. And I've done a little bit of tidying up of this shelf, added some bits and bobs in, like the bookends and some candles, just bits like that really. And yeah, it's time to have a look at the final shelves. So this will probably be like one of the like views you'll see when I'm recording videos, which is why I want to start it like this. I will also bring the chair up at some point, but I wanted to be able to properly show you this shelf without the chair in front of it first. But I would also show what it looks like with the chair in front. I haven't actually seen it myself yet because I didn't want to carry the chair up. So hopefully it looks good. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so that's it basically. The shelves are done. I'm hoping that these will last me kind of a couple of years before I need to do an unhaul, basically is what I'm thinking. Like I'm really hoping that these will last me to like the end of 2025 until I need to do another big unhaul. But like these are my red shelves now. These 3 shelves that you see in here, they're my red shelves. I do have 2 shelves upstairs, but to be able to use one of those as red I would need to half my unread books, which is maybe doable but not at the rate I'm currently buying books. So we'll wait and see. Let's have a look at the shelves, will we? I'm going to go behind the camera again and just show you around. So this is what you see of the shelves, and yeah, I think they look pretty decent. We do at the very bottom have Jay's ugly alarm clock that normally lives up on one of these shelves, but I'll keep it under there for now. So that's what the nice view is, and then obviously we've got wires and alarm clocks there. But yeah, so that is the basics of it. So like when I come into the bedroom there is a bit of a mess, just ignore that. Like this is the view, and then these are the shelves over here, and then if I turn you all the way around to the door, this is the other shelf. This is the shelf that gets tucked behind the door, and you can see there's plenty of space on this to keep growing as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start this shelf. I'll take you through shelf by shelf and just tell you what books are there. I'll maybe group a couple of shelves together if they've got the same things on, and then I'll go over to the main shelves and do that. Then at the very end I'm probably going to take some like nice camera-y shots and put that at the very end. But yeah, let's see what's on each shelf. Okay, so the top 2 shelves up here are my contemporary shelves. Just anything really set in the real world that doesn't fit into any of the other shelves. They're just in rainbow order up on this one, although on the camera this one looks white. That is actually a pale pink, but that is looking really white on camera. But yeah, that's like rainbow order. Then we've got some more here which are just like black, white, and then like doesn't easily fit in the rainbow. If we move down to the next shelf over here, these are kind of like mysteries, thrillery. I don't actually know if any of these are classed as thriller, but this is going to be like the mystery thriller, that sort of shelf basically. So that's that one. Move down another one. This is the horror shelf. Not many here, and I think I will have to actually move this shelf at some point, because I know like the next few horror books that I've got upstairs in my to read pile are much larger than these. But it does kind of fit a hardback on the slant. But yeah, that's that for now. If we move down to this one, this is what is left of my just like random non-fiction, so plenty of space to grow my non-fiction. I did get rid of a few of those. There will be an unhaul coming very soon of all the books that I ended up getting rid of whilst doing this. I was going to include it in the same video, but I've done a quick edit of this video so far and it's already 20 minutes, so with this on the end I thought it'd be long enough. And if we move down to this shelf, this is classics. Not many there, but I'm trying to just read a few a year, see what I like, see what I don't like. And yeah, these are ones that are worth keeping in my opinion. Then if I move backwards, you can see these bottom 2 shelves here on my like children's middle grade. The only book I'm not sure whether it should be here is Skullduggery Pleasant, and then also the Percy Jackson book that's here, but the rest of the Percy Jackson are there, so it feels like I should keep it together. But yeah, essentially on the very bottom shelf of the children's section is a finished series and standalones, and then on the top shelf it's like series that I'm still reading. So that's how I've split those up. Just nice and simple really. Most of the other shelves you saw on this one are literally just by size, so yeah, that's that shelf. Moving back over here, let's do this little shelf here first, then we can bring the chair up. So starting at the top, I have put some like knick-knackage on. I have got another lamp like this that I'm planning on DIYing to like actually go in the space, but for now I wanted to make sure that the wire would fit. These are actually my childhood bedroom lamps, so I got those back literally like this week, so I've added one in here and I'm going to DIY one and see how that turns out. But we've just got a bit of knick-knackage up there. Then on the top here we've got poetry and memoir. I haven't got enough of each to fill a shelf, and for me they just kind of fit together right. I know that doesn't really make sense, I know they don't technically go together, but it works in my head, so that's what we're going with. And then these next two shelves are all of my like graphic novels and manga books. Yeah, not much to say. They're in height order, but this shelf will also fit books up to this height on. So plenty of room to grow, plenty of room to see where that goes. Yeah, let's move over to this side. This entire shelf is now my fantasy and science fiction shelves. And if we take a closer look at these, you will see that they are in alphabetical order. And all that I've done with these is try and give myself breathing space on every shelf to grow. So when I read books, there's still space on every shelf to kind of put at least a few in. And yeah, it's just alphabetical order by the author's last name, and yeah, it's worked really well. Obviously some shelves have ended up with more space than other. This is probably my most cramped shelf here. There's not much space there. I could have left some above, but I've read a lot more of the Wayward Children series than I currently own, so I know that that's going to like take up a big chunk of space there as I start getting them. All the way down to the lowest shelf, which again has quite a bit of room. So yeah, that is the basics of these shelves. I'm going to go do some pretty shots and then we'll come back and have a final little chit chat. So yeah, this is the other kind of look that I tend to do, like sat somehow on this chair. Sometimes I bring it in front of the shelf, sometimes to the side. What's actually really interesting is when I'm sat on the chair, you can't actually tell that there's another shelf behind me, which I actually think works quite well. I wasn't sure about it, but like actually this works fine because it doesn't look weird. It doesn't look like I'm cutting anything off, but it also doesn't look like there's like a really tiny shelf next to this massive one. Yeah, I don't know, I like it, I'm a fan. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it looks really quite decent. I'm impressed with how it's come together. It's come together quite quickly, and I do have room to grow on like every shelf, which is really just what I needed. I am going to get better at when I read books, knowing if I want to keep them or not. Like, I'd been keeping a lot of books because I film these end of year videos, but realistically I can just make like slides to go in front of me on something like Canva or some sort of like editing software. Like, it's not the end of the world to not have the physical book. And it's really silly for me to think like that, because I often read ebooks or audiobooks where I don't own the physical book. So I don't know why in my mind I was like, if I have the physical book, I need to keep it because I don't. Yeah, so expect an unhaul coming very soon. I think I did mention that whilst I was doing the voiceover a bit. But yeah, this is it. This is it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's helped you, inspired you, or you've just enjoyed having a nosy time. But yeah, that's it from me. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please do give it a like if you like it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.